Live in Time. We Live in Time is the new Florence Pugh movie starring Florence Pugh. I couldn't say her name properly there. Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield, and then some other actors who I don't know their name. This is a sort of. I'm going to read the synopsis on IMDb because it's a weird one. An up and coming chef and a recent divorcee find their lives forever changed when a chance encounter brings them together in a decade spanning deeply moving romance. Okay, so it's just a big romance story. But it's really non-linear. Like it jumps backwards and forwards and in the middle and then back and then towards the end and then it jumps around throughout the whole film. And you're like, what is this? And basically they meet because the Florence Pugh character hits the Andrew Garfield character with a car. And they strike up a relationship. And it's just about life, really. About life, about having to deal with difference of opinions. This person doesn't really necessarily want to have kids in the future. This person kind of does. It's kind of having to deal with other very, very, very emotional things like cancer, having to deal with bringing up a family when you've got cancer. And I've got a couple of things to say about this film, honestly. I think this film had wonderful chemistry. Florence Pugh, Andrew Garfield, they were just on form. And I think a lot of people say how wonderful Florence Pugh is, and I get it. She is wonderful. She's great. Everything I've seen her in, she's been like one of the best things of that thing. So yeah, she's wonderful. But I have to start giving some serious praise to Andrew Garfield because there's something about his connection to his co-stars. I'm clicking when I do this because he's just clicking. He's just doing jack because he in this okay, Amazing Spider-Man, right? Those films were quite average in my opinion, but his chemistry and connection with Emma Stone in that film, that's one of the best romances I've ever seen in any superhero movie ever. They were just bouncing off each other. It was so natural, so real and cool to watch. And it's just like, wow, he had a really great chemistry with her. And then I saw him do those sort of chicken shop date things with that lady who does all those chicken shop dates on YouTube. And he's just got this charm and this wit and this backwards and forwards with her. And now with Florence Pugh, it's fucking on fire. Like their chemistry is so good. It's like they know each other's breathing patterns or something. They're so connected. It's so beautiful to watch. Like the way they act with each other. It's like a balletic duet or something. It's really, really great. They're just funny. They're witty. They're emotional when they need to be. They're angry when they need to be, and the facial expressions, and they feel like a real couple when you watch it. You're like, yeah, this is awesome. This is amazing. I do think that maybe the script was a little tiny bit generic. Um, and I think maybe the bouncing around the linear storyline was sort of hiding that fact a little bit. It was a bit like be impressed by the story because it's bouncing around. And we're going to kind of hide a little bit the sort of generic script. Because it's a little bit generic, if I'm honest with you. But that's fine. That's absolutely fine. When you've got actors like that, it's just you can basically do anything and they're going to make it good. It is one of those films that my friend saw it and said, yeah, it's good, but nothing to write home about. And I understand that. I do understand that. It's one of those films that it's as good as what you can bring to it as an audience member. In my case, I've unfortunately dealt with my mum dying of cancer. I've I've had to live through that. So seeing a parent have cancer and have to deal with that, it's like, oh man, it was tough. I have to say, it really really hit home. There's a part in it where, if you don't want any spoilers at all, maybe this bit isn't for you. So just spoiler alert. it's not a massive spoiler, but just a spoiler alert. There's a part in it where Florence Pugh is supposed to be resting and doing her chemotherapy and radiotherapy and stuff, which makes her really sick, obviously. But she's taking part in a really, really big cooking competition because she's a chef. She's a great chef. And it's this really stressful, sort of high intensity cooking competition. And Andrew Garfield finds out and he's like, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, you're going to kill yourself. You need to be resting. This is ridiculous. Don't, like real things that you'd want to say to someone who you love who's got cancer. You'd want to say, like, don't you want to try your absolute best to get better? Like, you've got kids here who want to have a mum. And Florence Pugh's response is, it's because I'm basically dying now that I want to do something so that my relationship with my children isn't defined by my demise. Oh shit, that was hard for me. Because my mum, like, up until the very end, she was always doing something. Like, she was always, like, working with metal or gardening or going for these long, long walks. Even when she was so sick that she could barely walk anymore, she got a little job, like, ironing, like, sheets for like, an Airbnb cleaning company. Like, she would iron all those sheets, and it was just like she wanted to keep doing something. She didn't ever just want to be remembered for her slow decay and demise. And damn, like, if that wasn't, like, relevant to me and poignant to me when I was seeing Florence Pugh say that, it's like, Jesus, that's so relatable, so true. It made me understand my mum more, if you know what I mean. And that's why this film for me is really good, because like I say, it's what you bring to it as an audience member. So it's just like, damn, that was really, really, really good. The food in the film looked good, made me hungry, and just all in all, I have to recommend this film. If you've had to deal with cancer in your life, this film might make you quite emotional, but I would still recommend it. If you feel like it, because it was very helpful for me, actually. I would say really, really helpful. What a beautiful depiction of that part of, and the whole film isn't about that, by the way. There's lots and lots of different parts of their life that they deal with, and that's just a part that was really poignant to me, and I'm not going to forget it. I'm not going to forget it for a long time. So just, what do you think of it? If you've seen it, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I'd love to know what you thought, because for me, that was great. Wonderful, wonderful film. I thoroughly recommend it.